spirituality in reality requires a lot of attention and work. It's not just hanging out. To me, spirituality is always a verb. It's practice. Whether it's like you're chanting or meditation or, I don't care, running, whatever your methodology is, to get out of narrow mind, the mind of the I, it, or us against them, and into spacious mind where it's an I, thou experience, or beyond even that, when it's just all God. That's the practices that bring us there. That's spirituality. It's not a feeling, it's a doing that sometimes leads to some feelings, but I don't care about the feelings, really. I care about the doing. I can't control the feelings, but I can control the doing. I get up in the morning, I go 5 miles walking and chanting and talking to God, and sometimes 6.
Does God talk back? What is your experience?
God actually does talk back. Who's interviewing whom here? Yeah, God does talk back to me. I mean, my intellectual belief is that God is reality with a capital R, or not a capital R, I don't care. God is reality. So all of this is God. You and I are God. Everything is God, from the most mundane to the most magnificent. It's all the divine to me. And I have this experience of a personal relationship with God. So God's not a person, but I have this experience of God as a thou, as a personal being, or I don't want to give the impression that God's a thing that I can actually talk to, but I have an experience of having conversations with God. Therefore, God must manifest in some way that I can relate. And the way that God manifests is as the divine feminine. I experience God as mother. Not my mother, but as mother. And she does talk to me. And she almost always says the same.
Is not a Jewish mother?
Yeah, well, she's got multiple faces, I guess. But she always says the same thing. Oh, I love you, but you're so stupid. It's always, you did that again. My experience of the Divine Mother is not always a pleasant one. I mean, I think that if you allow the spiritual unfolding to happen, it's a stripping away. It's a horrible experience. Yes. It's that, dark night of the soul, whatever we want to call it. But to me, for me, the actual experience was terrifying. And it was a stripping away of everything I knew and believed in and held on to, and all my security.
What happened? Like, terrifying in what way? Because this really fascinates me, because my beef with kind of New Age spirituality is that it's all supposed to be sweetness and light.
Yeah.
And when I hear about terror and stripping away, I can relate to that, because
when I go to these
human,
when I do these workshops, I go around the country. I mean, you do the same. I get the sense that spirituality is so sweet. It's like you could put a diabetic into a coma with the stuff that they teach, and it's driving me crazy. And it's not my experience. I mean, maybe it is theirs, and that's okay. But my ego says that all that sweetness is a defense against the reality, and the reality for me was, I hit rock bottom. I got to look at my life and how I was living it, and only saw the ugliness. How evil it was, how insane it was. And I don't mean I was overworked and all that. That's not what I'm talking about.
Wasn't it? Wasn't like it was need for Prozac or depression. It was something.
Well, I think you could probably drug your way out of it, maybe, and dull it, but I didn't. No, it was a realization that I treat people like crap. That I wasn't walking the walk, and I wasn't, and the talk I was talking wasn't even worth listening to. I mean, everything that I thought made me worthwhile, I suddenly saw it as a total fake, total sham, total scam.
Scam. Do you believe what he's saying? Joan, do you believe what he just said?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yes,
you believe that at one point in his life he was a total fake? I don't believe that.
I believe he absolutely had that experience.
Yeah.
And that's truly the experience, I think, in the spiritual life. When the bottom drops out, at least that's it. When you look at yourself and say, all these attempts that I have made to somehow or other contact some larger reality turn out to be a pile of BS.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what it was for me.
Yes.
And I looked at, and I still think this sometimes. I parrot, so I'll read something you wrote, and then I'll paraphrase it, and I'll sound pretty good, and I'll steal from everybody. And it's like a stand-up routine. I just sort of steal all this material and I spit it back, and I do it in an entertaining way, and I get by. But I know I don't know what I'm talking about. And if I do it quickly enough and and get in and out. No one will ask me any hard questions. So there is this total. There was a moment of absolute fakery or something that I realized.
Yeah, I get that. I understand.
But not just in my work, in my relationships. I mean, I just wasn't nice. Nice is a useless word. But anyway, I really hit rock bottom, and everything I trusted about me. I mean, I had this. I don't know how we switch this around, but I'll tell you. Here's the key to who I am.
Okay.
When I was about 16, I'm in my house, modern Orthodox Jewish house. No books. No one really read. Nothing. We're not cultural people. I read a lot, and I was into Zen. And one night, late at night, because I would read late at night, my mother came into my room, and she sat on my bed, and she said, with all, totally, she meant what she was going to say. She meant what she was saying, and she wanted to know if I was the Messiah. She was serious.
She was actually serious?
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold this. Like,
You
mother
know,
of teenage boy walks into bedroom and actually asks, "Are you the
Yeah.
Messiah?"
Yeah. And it was awful. And I started to cry. She started to cry. I said no. It was. I don't know what she expected for an answer. I mean, it was a bizarre question, but when she left, I said, "Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she knows something I don't know."
This is like an Anthony DeMello teaching
So-
story. We're all a Messiah.
So I have this.
I can't imagine this. I'm trying to visualize this, Rami. You in your bedroom and your mother actually asking that.
And I'm sort of making light out of it, but
No, and then
it was a pretty heavy
what-
thing.
What it would be like to actually reflect on that question.
Well, I did. I didn't. I mean, I said no. It was the truth. The answer was no. But I think it gave me a Messiah complex in the sense that, well, maybe I should be, or maybe I could fake it and it would just get by, something like that. So most of my spiritual stuff, up until I would think fairly recently, has been a really well choreographed act. And whether people like that or not, or that's how I saw it.
This is a huge thing. Stop for a minute, because here we are. We're filming this.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said it,
documentary
right?
About the holy rascals, and you're saying, "I'm a fake.
Yeah.
I'm a fraud." And yet there's something. There's
Genuine about the
something-
fakeness, right?
There's something. Yeah, well,
That's
there
the-
is,
that's the
because
trick.
there's so many frauds out there, and they actually believe that they're real.
Yeah,
or they
but-
want you to believe.
The most dangerous fraud is the one who says, "I'm a fraud." That's the most dangerous
Well,
one. So watch out for me.
Maybe that's the ultimate con, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. But
Well, I'm always worried about it.
You are always
Always worried about it.
Of course, that's there, because I've given up on thinking I'm ever going to eradicate my ego. I just want a truce. That's all.
Okay.
So-
Right. I buy that.